Is having tattoo on the body a sin?
Do you know that God is the first tattoo artist? If marks were wrong, why did Jesus have marks on his hands with the wounds?
I know you by name. My name is written. It's tattooed in your head. We have a problem there. God has a tattoo.
But the question is this: why do you want to put tattoo? Because motive is important here. Now, the scripture that people usually bring up to suggest that God instructed the children of Israel not to put on tattoo, I think that should be Leviticus 19, from verse 28, if I'm not mistaken, right? You have to understand what God aimed to achieve by giving them that instruction is the principle of separation. Because the land where they are entering into is surrounded and occupied by pagans. And pagans have as a practice to cut themselves. If you look at that scripture, okay, it said they should not, God specifically instruct them not to make cuttings for the dead or to put tattoo on their skin, because those practices were the practices that were practiced by pagans. So if you are going into a land, your acts should be separate. There should be a level of consecration, a level of separation. To them, those tattoo is like them consecrating themselves to their deity. So you don't have to join them in exercising those practice, making markings for the dead, and also tattooing their body. Those pagans, those things, they are not just doing it for the sake of pleasure. They are not doing it for fashion, as we get to see these days. They are doing it as an act of worship. And so for God, every act and everything the Israelites do is important. And that was why, in order to establish a level of separation, so that there will not be a mixture between the practices of the Jew and also the practices of pagan, they were specifically instructed. Mark the word. The reason why God gave them that instruction was to establish separation. And that leads us to the motive. In this our time, if somebody decides to put on a tattoo, the question I usually ask them is, to what end? Why do you want to have tattoo on your body? Who are the people that put it on their body? What is the purpose? Just like I said, at least, if not for anything, EJ Knitting has made us to understand that one of the reasons why Prophet Lovy had that tattoo on his body, so that he can be able to recite the incantation that's expected of him. So you, as a Christian that wants to put on tattoo, why are you putting on tattoo? And as for the defense Prophet Lovy Elias gave, is actually a very weak and a desperate defense, just like I said, in attempts to defend this action. And that is why you keep making silly responses, giving silly answers. If you end up trying to use the scripture to defend yourself, you should align to the scripture, not to use the scripture to back your action. You should align to the scripture. So the next time somebody tells you he wants to put a tattoo, you should ask him, to what end? What is the motive? Is he trying to become like the world?